Welcome to Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. I'm your host, Asher, and our guest today is Therese Tucker. And you're here because we get to talk about dreams, Teresa. So I'm curious, before I get started in the curiosity of mine, would you tell us where you're hailing from, what you specialize in, how you adding value to the world, and who you've been a hero to?
Ooh, okay. So I'm from Seattle, Washington, or technically south of Seattle, just for reference. United States. I am a self-empowerment coach. I am an artist. I am a psychic channel and medium. And my deeper goal is to connect people to spirit, to help them feel deeply connected to their spirit and the power within them so that they can be here and live the life of their dreams. And who do I feel like I'm a hero to?
Mm.
My children. I hope.
Mm.
I hope I aspire to be so to them. So I really work on trying to live by example and showing them, not just telling them how how to live a fulfilling life, but really trying to embody that and show them that it's truly possible so they believe it in their core.
Mm. Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And we can get right in. We can
Okay.
get right in. And I love that you got some clear on you. We go we can explore the clear in you. And if you if you don't mind telling me, what do you see when you look at me, Teresa?
What do I see? All right. So again, when I look at you, what I can tell right away from
Mm,
looking into your face is I see many faces, which lets
mm,
me know you've been here many times. You have an old soul with a lot of wisdom. And let me just get something else as I'm pulling this in. I see you actually here during this lifetime more of as a more of assistance to
mm,
those that are here. You're not really here to do your graduate program. You've done that already, and I'll go into that if you want to
mm,
go into
mm,
what I mean. You're here is more like if this were a college that we are in right now, this earth plane, you wouldn't be a student so much as like a teacher assistant type, like a co-teacher. That's what you're here to do this time. And then I do see animal spirits with people, and I do get both shark and Kodiak bear. And
mm,
both of these are connected. The energy that it's connected with is curiosity, and specifically fearless curiosity. Both
mm.
these animals are, I would say, I guess, hierarchically higher in the food chain. So they don't have a lot of predators, so but that means they don't have a lot of fear. They don't know a lot of fear, which gives them the ability to go and explore and truly explore for the sake of knowledge and learning rather than trying to hide or get away from something. They're just very curious. um, Shark especially is misunderstood on our planet. It is seen as something aggressive when I do not feel that energy from the spirit of shark. Shark is way more benevolent than that, but its curiosity often kind of gets it in trouble with humanity because, again, when you're swimming underneath a like a sea lion and you're swimming underneath a surfboard, sometimes they can look the same. So shark is curious and goes and bites it to see what it is. So sometimes the curiosity gets them into trouble, but most of the time there is this the energy that they're trying to teach us is to have no fear in exploring.
Mm.
And shark says have no fear in exploring the depths, where bear says have fun while you're doing it. Have fun while you shake that tree and you bust into that house and you swat that bee's nest. Have fun, have a good time.
Wow, Teresa, that was incredibly. Let me go put the word wonderful next to that because I resonate with what you said just now, by the way.
Okay.
And I definitely feel the spirit of exploring,
Mhm.
trailblazing, going to see things and transforming things that I think that could be transformed. So I definitely I feel that energy. So
Yes. And I just realized I didn't know why I didn't put this together first. But as you were saying, I feel the energy of exploring. I'm looking behind you and there's a world map. It's like, of course, it's right there.
So fitting, so fitting, so fitting, so fitting. Wow. Now, if I had to go back in your journey, your history, take
Mm-hmm.
a tour through your museum and visit the place that your dream started to be birthed. How far back is that for you?
Ooh. Okay. So for me, when I hear that question, it takes me back to, I would say, the beginning of psychic awareness, which as a child, I didn't know that that's what it was. I knew that it was overwhelming at times, but to wake up and there's people standing in your room, but
Mm,
there's you're the only one that sees them. I didn't know that that wasn't a common experience. I thought that was the experience. I
mm,
thought it was the experience to be able to sense nature beings and talk to trees and have trees respond to you. I felt like this is something that people do. And
mm,
I remember sharing that information with my parents, and I was never punished for it. I was just told I have a great imagination, sort of pat on the head. Oh, what a wonderful imagination you have. Um, my parents divorced when I was just turning 5, and my mom ended up marrying a man who was very psychologically and emotionally abusive. And I lived with him between the ages of 6 and 16. And I didn't see my own father as much. He had custody of us every other weekend. So the male influence in my life was not strong
mm,
and not always friendly for me. So I really went into my world of art. Art is something I say art saved my life. Being able to escape into my own inner world. I spent a lot of time there, and you notice that I'm a very visual person. That's why I was able to flush out my inner world onto paper and to see those ideas and to make connections. And then when my own ability to consciously connect with spirit came in, it also started with paper. It
mm,
started with a psychic that I knew of teaching me how to do automatic writing and make contact with my spirit team. And so I have a deep love of paper, a deep love of pens. I get excited when I see
mm,
them because some part of me is like, these are my allies and friends. These are the tools that I came in the world to create a bridge between me and spirit, to find a way to maybe create that proof that everyone's always looking for of spirit. It's like, well, it's in the art, it's in your art, it's in your music, it's in the way you dance. It's here it is on a piece of paper coming out of you, right? So it was this beautiful connection with spirit that really is centered on the visual and the art, but also that relationship develops like all relationships do. And so as soon as I got comfortable talking to them on paper, then I started feeling them, my team. I call them my team in spirit because we have guides. We sometimes have many guides. Most of us have a couple of beings with us that are there with us forever. And then we also work with other beings individually based on a reason, a season,
mm,
or possibly a lifetime. So my team was always very gentle with me, but they were like, "You're gonna got to go bigger, dream bigger, Therese. You can do more than just write this down." And so then it became the ability to allow myself to channel them. That started in dreams, which is very appropriate for this topic. So I had a lot of very um, prolific dreams for me where I met guides and was taught spiritual principles, taught about things like time and how time works, which is a great dream I'd love to share with you.
mm,
But dreams were predominantly how I was able to go deeper into my spiritual energy. And then my team said, you're here to do more. You're here to be a guide yourself. You're here to connect with people. And I was so frightened of that. I wanted it so bad. And yet I had this fear in me that I wouldn't be allowed to do it. For some reason, I wasn't allowed. or I wouldn't be accepted, or what if I can't? And all those feelings would come up. And my life has been a series of breaking through those limiting beliefs, which helped me know that many times what we struggle with is one of the greatest gifts we bring to help others with.
Hmm.
And breaking through that, finding those limiting beliefs and breaking through them has become something I realize, oh, this is what I'm here to give other people who would like to do this.
Mm. What popped in my head just now once you said that was, what would you be without your own limitation?
Mm. That reminds me of my favorite quote that I have as a fridge magnet. And the quote is, what would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Hmm.
I love to ask that question because doesn't the mind start to really expand when you ask that? What would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? If you knew it was already safe?
Mm. So let me tap into the bear in me.
Yes.
Let me let me tap into the bear in me because we started earlier and you said something that shows up just now. You talk about the moon and how when you look at the moon, what do you see? When I actually look at my face, what do you see? No, I'm actually when you look at the moon, what do you see? And if you had to share the depths of that, because just describing that you see something, but what is that? What is that seeing do for you? Because there's something that about when you think about life, right? You got eyes. Um, you can look, but you can't make yourself see, right? Like you know what I'm saying? There's something else that's operating there. I can open my eyes, but I can't make myself see. So now within you, something is helping you to see something on the moon. So what is that? What is that thing that you're noticing?
Do you know what soft focus is when I say soft focus?
Hmm.
So it's when you're in a trance type state where as you unfix your eyes, so rather than focusing on something intently, which by the way puts us in, we're in beta brainwave state when our eyes are really focusing, which is
Hmm.
cool. When we're in a trance state with our eyes closed, we go into alpha brainwave state. But I believe that there is a state between those two that's like an alpha beta state that you can go to, and it's soft focus. So how you do it is as you are looking at something in front of you, you unfocus your eyes and you'll notice that your vision expands and you'll be able to see in your peripheral vision.
Hmm.
Well, the cool thing about your peripheral vision and being able to really activate that is that it connects to your pineal gland.
Hmm.
So the pineal gland is connected to clairvoyance, or the ability to see that which isn't there, right? See through dimension, if you will. But it
Hmm.
also connects to your peripheral vision. So you start seeing things in your, have you ever had that experience where you're sitting there relaxed, your eyes are open, and you think you see someone walk by and you turn your head and there's no one there?
Hmm.
That's seeing through dimension. So when I'm able to see faces, as we spoke of before, some people have this ability that they can see faces in almost anything. If you can do this technique, you start to see them. And it's the interesting thing is I've always had issues with my eyes. I've worn glasses since I was in first grade because my eyes naturally stay in that unfocused place where I'm like kind of here, but also kind of over there. And in that state, I see faces everywhere. So when I look at the moon, I see this beautiful woman's face. She looks very serene, but maybe a little sad when I see her.
Hmm.
But I see her face in the moon. But it also allows me to look into like your face and then see the people you've been and see the guides that are with you. But I believe anyone could do that if they practiced.
Hmm. No, this is interesting because this is like playing with the eye, and the eye is like I said, the eye. I think the only thing that lies to us the most is the eyes, right? I think the eye is still the biggest lie, and I say that because oftentimes we think we don't we don't we don't know what we see, but we think we know what we see, and then what we see is not really what it is. So it's like it's the one part of our senses that tell us the biggest lie, I think, is the eyes. But then when you be able to figure out exactly what else it can do and be able to tap into that. And just like you're saying, you can use your eyes to see, but you're not just using your eyes. You're using that other eye, the inner eye,
That's right.
that is not blind to what this other eye can see. And that's the other part that we don't get to tap into. And when you're saying that you can just like fade through some of these things, this is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, and you make a good point. I mean, as you're saying that, I'm thinking, okay, how do our eyes lie to us? And even the way that our eyes work optically, right? We're not actually seeing the image. It gets flipped in our own
Mhm.
eye and then reread as upright. So that's such a true statement that you said. It's profoundly true because many times, like with spirit, for example, there's
Mhm.
spirit all around us, right
Mhm.
in front of us. As soon as you call a loved one from the other side, they're there with you. But do we see them? No, we don't. What do we
Mm-mm.
have to do? We have to close our eyes. We have
Mm.
to sense them. We have to sense them with our heart. And then usually we get some kind of visual that comes up in our third eye. So I agree. I mean, the interesting thing too with the eyes, like I said before, in order to focus, we have to be in a beta brainwave state. Beta brainwaves are a stress state. They're
Mm.
not actually us at our calmest or most centered. It's us focused. So we're alert, but it also puts us into our left hemisphere, which is our very logical, analytical side. And it's not the side that can connect with spirit or something greater. So we are sort of, every time we open our eyes and focus, we're going more analytical, we're going more literal in
Mhm.
how we're seeing the world. And I think that this soft focus thing. Now, obviously, when you're driving, you can't be in soft focus. You need the focus. I'm not dissing focus. I'm just saying that maybe if we were practicing that soft focus state more, our eyes would show us more of the truth.
Mhm. Mm. So let me go into, so you do something else with other people, and I'm curious about how do you like come up, like let's go with art first. Like how do you come up with your art piece? Like how do you tap into the artistic part of you to kind of like to paint something that people would want to see, or at least what you see that people want to see?
That's a really good question that I ask all the time. How do you do it? You know what? If I, Therese, try to decide what I'm going to create, it's always a lesser creation. It always
Mhm.
falls short of what
Mhm.
it could be. And as a creator being, we're all creator beings, but when you're a creator being focusing on literal creation, if you want to tap into something powerful, you have to recognize I am a channel for source energy to work through, which means that whatever the idea is, if you can trust it, it will show you its process. But many times when I go into that trust space with source, it will not show me the whole thing at once.
Mhm.
It'll go do this step, so, take the paint, spill it across the page, let it dry, and I look at that and I'm like, is that it? And they're like, no, now grab this, right? Grab your brush, grab this other color, add it here. So it's it's kind of beautiful. I maybe I get it that way because it would be overwhelmed to try and get it all. But I find that when I'm connected with source and I'm allowing that to work through me, I am being maybe told a story or allowed to go through the process and not worry about what are we going to get when we get there. You instinctively know as an artist when it's time to stop. Not to say that we stop when it's time to stop. Many of us overwork things and we have to learn how to let go or let enough be enough. But as far as that process goes, like, okay, let's say this happened last night. I paint every day. So I spilled ink on the page and I let it dry and I mixed another color in. I was like, ooh, this is pretty, but I can feel it's not done. And I'm looking at it and I see, oh, it's a sky. And what does this sky need? It needs birds. And of course, I could try to just draw it, but I want the birds to fly in a specific pattern and I can't picture it. So I'll go on Pinterest and I'll be like birds flying and see what comes up until I find one that feels like the match. So that's the literal way I do it. But as far as like, how do I know what something, what someone will like? I don't. What I've learned over time making art and selling art to people is it's highly personal. Many times you are a channel or a messenger for someone. someone needs this message, they need this reminder, and you're getting the message, but you have no idea that this message is not for you, it's actually for this person.
Mm.
And I've had so many experiences where when someone connects with my art and buys it, they tell me this really beautiful and many times very personal story. I remember there was this one painting I did of a woman. She had this very specific blue and white dress on, and she had I had painted butterflies all around her, so she had butterflies on her face. And then the woman who purchased that, she told me a story about how she had this dress, how this woman represented her, and the butterflies represented the relationship with her and her father, who was passed over, and how after he had passed, he sent her butterflies. And so when she saw that painting, it stopped her in her tracks, because she said, there's me and my dad and this message. And I'm just thinking, isn't this a beautiful picture of a woman with butterflies? Like, I like to paint women. I like to paint butterflies. Isn't this, for me, it's so the meaning was more about enjoyment and painting the process and feeling it like it was aesthetically beautiful. For her, it was her and her dad, and how the connection is never broken.
Mm. That was beautiful, by the way. And it was so beautiful to have me thinking about. I think that we can compare that to life. You was talking about you never get the entire picture to paint, but once you paint something, there's something that show up. And if you think about life the same way, like like do today, and then tomorrow will tell you what to do. Like tomorrow will tell you what to do, but you gotta do today first. And sometimes we're so scared of doing certain things because we want to know everything, but like the life is the same. Do today, and then tomorrow will tell you what to do. When you get to tomorrow, then tomorrow will tell you what to do again. But there's always something that is moving us, that is pulling us, that is directing us, so to speak, that is giving us the thing to do next. And we don't believe that there's something that's doing it. But when you're painting, you know it is, because you don't have everything up front. You have some of it, and when you finish it, the thing, the completion of the day, tell you what tomorrow wants.
Yes.
And it's so powerful when you think about it, just through the painting process and life itself. Yeah. But
It,
oftentimes we get stuck on today.
you're giving me goosebumps right now, because I'm
Mm.
thinking about the process of how what's meant for you is coming for you, and you
Mhm.
don't know that the step you're in, which might feel so 180 different from where you think you should be going, is the very step you need to get there. And I'm thinking about the journey, not only for my art, but also for my own psychic development, and also standing in my power around that. I was very hidden. I used to joke that I was in the closet as a psychic, because I was afraid people would be like, oh, sure you are. Or they would feel like, that's weird. People have comments and opinions, and I was worried about that. And so I hid it. It wasn't something I shared openly. And yet I have a deep passion for the work I do. I just was afraid to share it.
Mm.
And I remember I was sitting at the table before a really big life turn happened. And I was sitting there, I was following another teacher's prompts about how to connect with the different aspects of your soul and hear its messages. And I was writing down, I still have it framed on my altar, but I was writing it down, like, what does my higher self say I want? And it said connection. And what does my human self say I want? I want certainty. And what is my, can't remember what that other one was, like adult self, maybe. Like, what do you want? You want a strategy.
Mm.
And what does my younger self want? My inner child. And it said, dream bigger.
Mm.
And that one stumped me. The other ones were like, okay, I get that. Okay, I get. And it said dream bigger. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how could I? At the time, I didn't know how small I was dreaming. I was really hiding. I was hiding and undervaluing myself, and feeling like maybe even a little bit of a victim. Like, I don't know how, no one showed me the way, so I can't, that kind of energy. And my inner child was saying, dream bigger. And I thought, you don't know what you're talking about. I dismissed it, as our egos do from time to time. And that was the year. that I had had my second child. I wasn't working because I had a 4-year old and a new baby. My husband was working, but he was also trying to do real estate and didn't realize like how complicated that is when you actually get into it, like what you actually need to have in place for that to work. And it, to be honest, that's not really his personality type. That
Mm.
you have to have a certain personality for that to work. So it all crashed. It all
Mm.
crashed. We were evicted from our home. And that was a sobering moment. It's not something I would wish on anyone. But I remember at the time, it was a kind of a do or die moment. What I mean by that is I'd been told I had 6 hours to vacate with two little children, like a baby and a small child, and all of our house. And that wasn't really reasonable. And my husband, when it happened, he went into a panic. He went around, is like, okay, what are we leaving behind? Like, we're just going to have to abandon furniture.
Mm.
And I felt the hand of spirit on me. And I heard very sternly, sit down and meditate, which is a weird response for me at the time, felt weird. Why would I do that when we are in crisis? And so I did. I sat there and I meditated for 20 minutes and then I got instructions. It was call the lawyer, tell them this, go through this. And I turned the 6 hours into 6 days. And at that time, the day that we got evicted, we ended up in a hotel room, not a fancy one, just a hotel room. But it was the last room they had at that hotel, and it was like a honeymoon suite.
Mm.
So that night, I'm sitting there in a bathtub with my whole family. Like all of us are sitting in this huge bathtub, and I'm thinking, I'm technically homeless. And I was just told to dream bigger. And I just turned 6 hours into 6 days. And I realized if I focus my mind and I let go of that fear and I only focus on what I want to create. I want safety. I want some security. I want us to be okay. I don't know how I'm going to make this happen because I give it over to God, but I know it will happen because I've decided it will happen. And I relentlessly focused on that. And within 2 weeks, we were able to move into a new home. Now, it was like 2 weeks of being in hotels, which was like a weird vacation
Mm.
adventure. My kids thought we were on vacation. I was every day calling on spirit, meditating, focusing my mind. I was very diligent about staying focused, and I was able to move through that situation that was very difficult fairly successfully. I remember there was a few nights at the hotel where the money, because it's expensive to do that. That's not a wise way to do it. It's not what I would recommend, by the way. None of this is what I would recommend. I recommend, you know, doing things in a more secure order, but that's not my path. My path is sometimes to learn by going into the depths of it.
Mhm.
So I remember there were a few nights where I had to go to bed and I was like, the money that we need to stay one more night here is not there. I need to manifest this money, or I need to consider what it looks like to sleep in the car tomorrow night. Like, I need to be at peace with that. I need to let go of the fear. I need to be in a state of peace and trust that the the best thing for our highest good will happen. And I will call in and I will align my energy and manifest. And every day I'd make the money. Like the money would come in and I would make that money and I'd be able to pay for another night. And it went on like that for 2 weeks. So it was a very intense education that I got through about manifesting and being intentional and being um, diligent with your mind. No stray thoughts about what if this happens, what if that happens. You deal with it and you keep holding the intended energy. That was a beautiful crash course. Looking back, I say, thank you, God. What a gift. Thank you
Mm.
for showing me what is possible. Thank you for showing me what I'm capable of when tested. Please let's not do that one again. But thank you for showing me what is possible. And now I understand what you mean by dream bigger, because all of that smallness and hiding caused me to lose a home that I loved. I loved that space. And now I took from that moment I took it on at a soul level. I will not hide anymore. So every time I catch myself hiding, I force myself out of hiding. I say, you don't have to do it right now, Therese, but tomorrow you do not get to hide. So today is the last day. Enjoy it. Go cuddle up under your covers, watch a Netflix show or whatever. But tomorrow you come out, right? You get 24 hours to deal with the emotion, and then you're going to move forward. Um, and the
Mm,
beautiful thing about that is I look back and I'm not, the woman I was then is inside me foundationally, but she would be blown away if she saw what I can do now.
mm. Wow. You said a lot of stuff just now. And I'm gonna tell you what pops in my head. He was talking. And I would start with you said for 2 weeks you was able to dream small but dreamt enough. And then the voice in you was saying dream big because the same way you achieved the small dream, you can achieve the big dream. Only if you like figure out how to believe in your own dreams. And I was thinking about it because a lot of us in the same situation. Like we say we want a car and we end up gonna get it. Like we dreamt it and it happens. We say we want some food and we find it. But what if we dream bigger than those things? The same thing that caused us to dream that small dream, make it real. We can dream the big dream, make it real. And you said something also. You said I think all of us got the clear in us. Like you say, all of us got the clear enough. We just don't know what's happened to it. But then you said no one showed me, but I was thinking the same time. But the one is that was within you. Like no one showed me, but the one that I'm looking for is within me. But we don't recognize the one that's within us. You say, no one is showing me, but there's the one is within you showing you. Like he showed you for 2 weeks that you can dream and make it real. Then go back to the voice that says dream big now. So if we all could go back to like, hey, the same way we achieve the small goals, we can achieve the big goals.
Mhm.
It's the same mind, the same one within you that's doing the same thing. Small or big, it's up to us to dream. So I appreciate you sharing that because that hit me just now. I was like, okay, so what can I reinforce in other people? You have evidence of 2 weeks of doing it. 2 weeks, even though it was small, but 2 weeks of doing something that wasn't there for you, but you made it real. And what is that big dream? So what is your big dream now, Therese?
Whew. I have a couple that I'm
Hmm.
working on. Right now, I there's something about a home that is very important to me. And I
Hmm.
didn't really touch on this before, but you can tell my big lesson was connected to a home. When I was very little, I used to cry in my room, in my home, that I felt like I wasn't at home. I didn't know that that was a symptom of maybe not being from Earth or something like that. But I used to cry for home in my room, and my mom would look at me confused and say, "Well, you are home." And it was this existential longing for a home. So my big dream really is about a home. I don't know yet if it's a home that's physical that I experience, or if it's a sensation of home that feels deeply real. In my mind, it's always about a house, right? So this big dream is about achieving this house. How am I going to do it? I'm going to do it by doing the work that I love, the work that gets me like I getting to sit here and talk to you. I'm
Hmm.
excited about that. I wake up and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I get to talk to somebody new today and create more connection. So I want to achieve these physical goals, like owning a home, but I
Hmm.
want to do it specifically through work that I love, which sounds very open ended. But there's a lot of things I do. I make art, I make jewelry, I do psychic readings, I coach with people, I have a podcast, I wrote a book. There's so many things that I've done, and it's not really one. For me, my big dream isn't about one track. It's just that I got to do the work I love, and it created a fruitful result, something that I get to experience, that I get to share with my family, that I get to look at and touch and say, I did this. I did this through love. I did this through service. I did this through waking up every day and choosing my life rather than feeling forced into something. I chose it. I chose to wake up today and do this with you. I want that. And I'm living that to a degree. I think the last part is the really tangible stuff that you get to look around and touch and go, wow, the work I've done created this.
Hmm. Okay, let me see if I can use my clear.
I'll use your clear.
So when you said there's something about you that really wants a house, and when you was talking, I was thinking maybe it's not a house, maybe it's what a house symbolizes. Maybe that's the thing you're feeling for, and what a house symbolizes is a place where people can come and feel safe. So then maybe that's what you're creating, or maybe that's what you're putting together is a place that people come to feel safe. Symbolically is a house, but what does a
Yeah.
house symbolize to you? So let me ask you this: what does a house symbolize to you?
So the word home is what's resonating, and that's
Hmm.
the thing I've wanted. And home is, for me, it's the external expression of your internal world.
Hmm. Go deep.
So as I talked about before, I I'm very much connected to my internal world. That was my safe space for a long time. So, yes, I agree with you. I do believe that it's a space that feels like a vibrational match to what I carry within me,
Hmm.
and that it feels grounded and secure, that other people also feel grounded and secure, and it feels expansive. There's just
Hmm.
something about that of being able to um, I've done it in smaller spaces because we all make a home everywhere we go. It doesn't matter the space, right? You can make your home anywhere you are. But I want to dream bigger. I want to make it bigger. I want to make that space bigger and expand it and get to experience that. However that manifests. I don't know that I'm too concerned with the details. I'm just trusting that process, and that when I achieve that, I will know it. Maybe I'll finally feel like I'm home.
Hmm. You know what? This even though this is like this thing say home is where the heart is at,
Hmm.
but then where's the heart? The heart is in the body. So the body is the home, so to speak. But then going back to your thing about creating a home. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And what that comes up for me is community. Like community is the home. And the only thing that resemble expansion is community. So if you want to expand your home, I mean, I think community is it.
I
And
agree.
then, yeah.
That's very, very wise and insightful. And I'm thinking now about my personal astrology, my natal chart. And I
Mm.
have a lot of planets in the 11th house, and the 11th house is where community is, groups. And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe he's onto something with that. I think you're right.
uh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm right, even though my last name is right, but I'm not sure if I'm right.
I think you're onto something for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like um with your skill set, you can't be boxed into four walls.
It's true.
Yeah. So I think the home is symbolic of what it represent, and what it represent is it's the impact it can make. And maybe from there you probably feel at home when you have people that are feeling at home because of what you do.
I do have a few community spaces that I facilitate. One of them is called the
Mm.
Spirit Circle, and that's something I do every new moon and full moon. So there's that moon
Mm.
work again. But I do have a group of people, and it is a very beautiful space. I absolutely love being there. It's such a positive and uplifting group of people. And then I'm also on Insight Timer as a
Mhm.
meditation teacher, and I do live sessions on there. And
Mm.
that one has been very exciting because it has such a large community, a large global community. So, what I love about both of those spaces is the work I do. It's pretty specific. If you're
Mhm.
into it, you're really into it. If you're not, you're not. And that's
Mhm.
okay because I do think that the work I'm doing calls in my soul family.
Mhm.
And that's the community that I'm really excited. When you're with them, you just feel them. Like, I know
Mhm.
you're part of it. You're a part of that community. Like, you feel them and you're like, oh, thank goodness. It's like so good to see you again.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so one of them you network with, one of them you started.
One of them is, yeah, a group that I started through my work, and the other I get to do through Insight Timer through live events. And those are always different. The next one coming up, we're going to be practicing telepathy
Mhm.
because those in that community were like, let's do it. Because
Why not? Let's
telepathy is
try it.
some, yeah, well, telepathy is one of our natural abilities that's been suppressed,
Hmm.
that my team and spirit are always saying this is coming back first. This will be very easy for us to pick up again
Hmm.
once the energies really get going in people. And just speaking of that, it was so funny. So last night, my husband and I had a telepathic experience. It was so wild. We were watching a YouTube video, and he was getting ready for bed. I was already in bed. We're watching this YouTube video about Tim Burton movies. And we both noticed that there's always a dog in his movie. And the dog is usually, like in the Nightmare Before Christmas, there's a ghost dog named Zero.
Hmm.
In Corpse Bride, there's a dog named Scraps made out of bones. But always, it's kind of macabre what he does, but it's dead dogs. But there's always this dog, and it's always very cute. My husband's in the bathroom. I'm laying on the bed. And both of us had the same thought. Tim Burton must have had a dog pass when he died, and he kind of brings that dog into all of his movies. And I was thinking it, didn't say a word. He wasn't even in the room. And he comes back, and like mid conversation, he just starts in on it, talking about, Tim Burton's dead dog. And, I wonder if it's in every movie. He comes in, he says, I wonder if it's in every movie. And I'm like, whoa, we were just talking. We were just having this mini conversation in our mind. You're over there, I'm over here. And
Hmm.
he comes in and picks up the conversation as if we were talking about it. And I'm just like, there it is. There's the telepathy. Mind blown.
Hmm. You guys
Mhm.
was in the thought universe at the same time,
We
plugging out the
were.
same thought. Yeah, yeah. No, it's and a lot of time people don't believe that, and even and sometimes and it's real, it's true.
It is.
Because even though you like you pick up your phone to text somebody and you look at it, they're texting you at the same time. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
a
your
lot of
little dots.
yeah, you can see a lot. I'm like, I'm just picking up the phone to text you, and you're texting me. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I see that on WhatsApp all the time because WhatsApp told you when somebody's typing, right?
Yeah.
Or, but I was like, you're typing me when I'm typing you. Like, like, what's going on? But it's like so many evidence of us like syncing up on the same thought in the thought universe at the same time. But we
Yes.
don't believe that it's possible, but it is. We just probably don't know to like really do it yet because we probably lost connection with it.
Well, now think about this, right? So telepathy would be connected to your right hemisphere. That's where
Hmm.
all that abstract connections are made, is in the right hemisphere. Our eyes are open. We're focused on a screen. We're looking at something else. We're in that beta state. Now, last night it was an example of how you can do it and
Hmm.
be in that beta state. But imagine if we could more often. And
Hmm.
some of us here, like you, I know you do. I know so many people who do. I'm not saying everybody's left hemisphere. There's a lot of people who are connected to their right hemisphere.
Hmm.
Some people hang out way more there than in their other hemisphere. And I always joke that God gave us a whole brain. So we're supposed to use both halves, right? We're supposed to
Hmm.
use them equally. We're supposed to, I feel like, and the pineal gland sits in the middle. I feel like we are supposed to traverse and learn how to go into our right hemisphere, talk to higher self, talk to source, get
Hmm.
the information, bring it through, and then take action from that left hemisphere.
Hmm.
But I feel like if more people could access that right hemisphere, instantly we start accessing the heart as well. So the heart, from what my team shares with me, and how I teach telepathy, is it starts with connecting with your heart. Get into the heart
Hmm.
space. If you want to connect with a specific person, start focusing your mind on that person and trying to feel where they resonate within your own body.
Hmm.
So take somebody in your own life right now, somebody that you care about deeply. And when you think about them, try to see, where do you feel them in the body? Like, how do you know that you're thinking of them? Where does your body tell you?
You want me to do like right now?
Yeah, do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Hmm. Hmm. I'll say my stomach.
See, so interesting. You'd think it would be, I thought we would feel people in the same place. And then when I started testing it, I'm like, no, I feel them. I feel this person over here. Somebody's like behind my sternum. Somebody's like in my left side, in my right side,
Mm.
center of my heart, back of
Or,
my heart.
or a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's right. But when you can identify their energy signature and where it taps into your body, this
Hmm.
is where I feel like the strongest Aka threads are. So Aka threads are those beautiful glowing threads of light that connect us all together. I feel like this is where that person for you, when you feel them in your stomach, there's a lot of threads connecting you to them there. And
Mm.
those I my team shows me as a joke like telephone lines. See, that's your telephone line.
Mm.
So you can connect with them. And so as we start identifying, okay, who am I talking to? Where do I feel them in my body? Now I can start using those threads to send packets of information. And it takes a while because we're used to when we verbally communicate, we're used to breaking it down into language and we're
Mhm.
not paying attention to what else we're doing. So like when I'm telling you the story of that eviction, I'm visualizing it. I'm actually accessing like visual cortex memories. I'm accessing the emotional state that I felt. I'm accessing even some physical, like remembering, like remember the texture of the bathtub that I was sitting in, or the pillows, how they felt so different from my pillows at night. Those types of things are all in that information. And many times when people practice telepathy, they're thinking of words. That's
Mm.
the least efficient way for us to communicate.
Mhm. Mhm.
Better, I send you the whole package. Here's how I think, here's how I feel, here's what I saw, here's the word best associated with it. And that tends to get us more results when we do that.
Mm. You know, I'm gonna close with this piece here. And I was just thinking about, this guy named Earl Nightingale. He had this one saying that we become what we think about, right? But then I was thinking about it even differently, where like for this thing to think about me, I gotta think about it. So if I'm thinking about it, it's thinking about me.
Mm,
And if we do that more often, the only way you're gonna connect with the things you want is to think about it. And when you
that's right.
think about it, it thinks about you too. So I gotta say, okay, what I wanna have out you think about me. I want that person to think about me a lot. So I'm gonna think about them. I think about them long enough, they're gonna be thinking about me too. And this good there goes that telepathy piece. So the thing you want, make sure it's thinking about you by thinking about it.
I love
And then you
that.
can have it.
I love that. That's a
Mhm.
very powerful thing to end on. I love that. Thank you for that.
Absolutely, Therese. You are incredibly powerful, my friend.
Thank
You
you.
are.
So are
Yes.
you.
Oh,
So
thank
are
you.
you.
Yes. Now, if somebody hearing like Therese, you were speaking to me this whole time, and I want to connect with you, how can I connect with you?
There are so many ways we can connect. I am on Insight Timer as a meditation teacher. You can look for Therese Tucker there. But the
Mhm.
best way to find out what I'm up to is to go to my link tree. Can I give you that? I know that's
Yes, but if you're speaking to it, somebody gotta find you now, then sure. But if they catch this live, then later on, because I won't catch up to the
sure.
show notes
So,
for later.
so my website is called blythestarlight.com. Blythe is spelled Blythe, and then the word starlight. That's my website. And I'm on pretty much every social media platform as Blythe Starlight. So you can find me on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel where I do weekly karma card readings
Mm.
at Blythe Starlight as well. So Blythe Starlight is the keyword, and you'll find me everywhere.
And just go be the bright starlight, be the
Yes.
starlight in your yes. Okay, so I have two more questions, and
Yeah.
if you had to wrap up this conversation today and tell me what was your biggest takeaway or giveaway, what would that be?
I really loved what you said about how our eyes don't tell us the truth. I felt like that was a really powerful statement, and it really got me to consider how how powerful it is. Not all of our eyes tell us the truth. Our two eyes don't tell us the truth, but when you add the third, then you'll see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's powerful. I love it. Okay, and then my last question. What is that one thing or two thing when people do drive you crazy?
Oh man. Two things? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. What drives me crazy?
Mm,
I think maybe as a mom and as a coach, it drives me crazy when someone says, "What should I do?" And then I give them the answer and then they don't do it. So it's that thing where, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And sometimes you're just like, please drink the water.
no, the other part of that is you gotta make him thirsty.
Right. Exactly. Well, hey, there you go. Right. So I
You-
think that, I mean, as somebody who feels very passionate about being a guide for people, it is hard but
mm,
when they don't do it. But everybody does it in their own time, and I
mhm.
think that I'm here to learn patience. And I could use more patience in myself.
That's
And
what
then
happens to people that can see more than they should see.
right,
Why you not see what I'm seeing?
right, yeah. So that's
Hmm.
that's true, because when you see it, you're kind of at the front of the line, if you will, and you have to wait for everybody to catch up. So
Hmm.
I think I am here to learn patience,
Hmm.
which is a virtue my husband has in spades. And the other thing that annoys me, and I love my husband very much, but it annoys me when he leaves all the cupboards and drawers open. Just close, just close the door. Close the door.
Mom got a claustrophobia. Okay. All right. I got you. I got you. I understand. So the man knows, hey, if you don't want to drive me crazy, don't do these things.
Right, just close the cupboard. Just close.
Okay. All right. This was fun. Yeah, I got a lot from you today, and it's powerful to see other people that are like owning their purpose. Because sometimes the destiny scares us and we don't want to like really face it.
Yeah.
And when you was talking about the voice that says dream big, and I realized the power in that statement itself. Because when you was talking about the home piece and the dream big piece, and this is what I realized about big dream. So when you dream really big, right, it is big enough to encompass other people's dream.
Mhm.
So if you have a big dream and my dream is small, but I meet you, I'm like, wait a minute, my dream can fit in your dream. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna roll with you. Because if you achieve your dream, I'm gonna achieve mine. If I achieve my dream, that means I'm gonna help you achieve yours. So I realized the power in that. So I'm like, okay, let's go dream big now. Dream really big, make it so big that it encompass so many people. That means they're gonna collaborate with you because, like, oh man, her dream fit all of our dreams. Let's roll with her. We have our achieve our dream, our dream come true too as well. So that's another part that kind of reinforced for me today is like keep dreaming big because the bigger your dream, the more people you can add to it, and the
That's
more people
right.
can help achieve theirs because they can fit in it.
That's such a powerful statement. When I look back at how small I wasn't
Mhm.
helping as many people. Now that I dream much bigger, I help a lot of people. And that nothing compares to that when you can be of service to people and help them dream bigger. Oh my gosh, that's an
And that
incredible feeling.
and that is home.
That's home.
That's home base.
There it is.
Yeah. Therese,
Yes.
I love this conversation. Thank you so much for gifting me with it. And
Thank
gift the
you.
folks that hear. Yeah.
Thank you for having me here. This has been, I think, my favorite day so far. Asher, you've made this week. Today is my favorite day.
Uh, I'm a digest that one, and I'm gonna tell the folks that are listening and watching, you're tuned into Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life training wisdom. And today you got some wisdom from Therese. And in my world, wisdom means application. So you got some things to apply to your life from whatever she just shared with you today that resonate with you. Any last word, Therese? Any last word before you close?
We are so loved and so supported more than we can see with our eyes. So trust in that and know that the universe has your back and is conspiring in your favor.
Mm. And I have to add something to that too. This is
Yes,
my favorite quote. I always share this. It's from Dan Sullivan, and you might like it too. It says, "Your eyes only see and your ears only hear what your brain is looking for." So if you dream big, your brain gonna be looking for it. All right. Make it an awesome week.